Welcome back to Nightingale's Motorcycles, restorers and metal finishers, powder coaters, ceramic coating, cannons polishing, soda blasting, TLR builders. Right, so how to restore carburettor? Well, we're going to start on a TLR 200. This is for the finish of it. Now in a previous video, remember if you're new to the channel, and some of my followers will think I go over a few things, but remember people just come into it, so I kind of do a little bit of catch up. A gent sent an heading for a TLR 200 Honda, and he wants me to do some work on it. It's not got the modifications like we do, and he don't want it souping up or anything. But he also had seen the videos on some of my TLR carburettors that I've fault finded with, which a lot of people end up throwing them in the bin, and there's no need to. So what I thought, I did have a look. He sent this in, and it came in the same box, and I had a quick look at this at the time. So we'll show you the carburettor he sent in, because he was just going to swap it for some kind of Chinese itchy fanny thing. So and I tried to put him off. Now I've had over the years so many of these Honda 22 carbs, and people go down the same route. You've got to remember over the years that people have either run them without filters, or they've been on clay beds, and they've done all this, and they go, it's worn out. Now it always amazes me this when people say things are worn out. If you get one of, as you know, I'm into my CBX1000s, if you get a bank of 6 carbs and we just go, oh, they're worn out, and we throw them away, and we buy a set of equivalent 2-stroke carburettors, say, of all things, to throw on them, you won't do it. So you assess it and you start replacing the parts. So all the bodies, these original TLRs, I've found good. I've had them with 38,000 mile on. I've had some imported ones with less than 2,000 mile on. I've measured them. I've seen a lot of faults. I can fix most of them over the phone. So he's seen my videos and seen what we get up to. But I thought what we'd do today is show you some processes through this carb to start to finish in the workshop. And I'm going to use some cleaning chemical. I'm going to use a bit of finishing powder, which I'll go over that to show you. I'm using a dry blaster, which will show you dry blaster, an aqua blaster, which is a wet vapor blaster, and a bit of cannons polishing. Because what I've decided to do is, this isn't the carburettor, I'm going to show you this one in a minute. I'm going to restore the body from what it is when you see it in a minute. And I've had a word with him. He don't want any specialist ceramic coating, which I do on the bottom of the float ball. He wants a little bit of bling. So I said, what about if we polish the bottom half of the float ball and the top half of the ring there after we've restored it? Which when you see it, you probably think we won't get to that. But I'll do loads of these. So let's have a look what it comes like out the box. Right, so as I say, this came in a couple of weeks ago with this head. And I had a look at it then. And it had a few good things going for it. Basically, the things I look for, because it's alright putting it through. I mean, this video is to show you how we bring them up, but if a customer's sending it into us, we have to check a few things we know. So I took the slider out, and the slider actually came out easy, and the choke assembly still working nice. Now we'll have some real close-ups of this, and then I'll show you a carburettor that's come in this morning actually. Customers complaining of a fault with it. This parcel coming from Devon, this one's from the Midlands. So let's have a real close-up of this carb and have a look at it. You know, you can certainly see it's a little bit sorry, isn't it? Another close-up, because we're gonna, I love this way you get a bit of the original on the red frame where someone sprayed it. So that's the carburettor we're going to bring back. Now this video is about bringing one back, what we can as restorers can do, but this could be at home. Now I'm going to give you a price on this as well when it's finished, to give you some idea, which means you could send it out to me. But there's a few checks you could do yourself. Just a little thing, what we check for. I mean, this one's coming today and it's in lovely nick. Look at this, right? But straight away, you don't have to have anything measuring on it. But look at the, straight off, look, the air input. Look, it's had a crunch, right? You can see it, it's had a crunch. So visual inspection, first 2 seconds. And then I look round and it's put an O-ring in it. And that's the O-ring it's come in with. And again, it'll be a genuine Chinese Wang King special. And I think the thing you got to say is here, just a quick look at this. When you match this up to here, I know we're going on about restoring a car, but it's things you look at. If I tighten that, I put my pressure on there, and I put my gauges straight into there, look, we come out the other side. So it's complaining of it fluctuating up and down. So before we even started it, we've got a seal here which will be weeping, because we don't want to start putting bung round it. Probably haven't even seen that. And then we've got a gap there, so we've got air sucking in and out. So that's before we start. Again, wrong gasket, wrong sealer, straight away. It's too short, it's under the lip. If you look back on one of my videos, I'm telling you about when we get into heat transfer from the head to here, how serious this gasket is, not too over tight. I did a video on that, because they're not phase fit, so you can put it through, gets warm and starts sucking air in, but you'll see that on a previous video. So yeah, so that's just come in, so that's before we even start. So we've got a dent in it, wrong ring in it, so it's probably fixed now. But all he just said over the phone is, well, I've put a new O-ring in it and I put it back together. He'll have had it to bits a million times, tweaking with everything. So we'll go off the subject of this, because it's you know, it's a single cylinder carburettor. It's not a multi-bank. But the amount of people who say they're thrown away, I throw them away because it's rubbish. What they've done is they've got something like this. They've messed about with some jets off an internet site. Everything's not matching, even the little piston needle there doesn't fit in the brass housing correctly. They'll have had flooding coming out the bowl, they'll have had an under cough, it won't rev out, or it's got the slow blip, and that'll be one of the reasons they just give up. You take the carburettor off it and put one of these cheap things on it, and you start it up and it starts first kick, you say, oh, it's fantastic, but really it's crap. It's wearing out faster than, that's why you see them all at your local club. They'll always be tweaking or saying, do I need the needle up? It's fluctuating, it's wearing out faster. I must admit, some of the bodies on them cheaper things aren't so bad, but you've got to buy genuine internals. So when this come in straight away, I had a look at it, and it's got the old internal, throw everything away, but this isn't the conversation of it. What we're up to today, the project, is to show you how we're going to bring this back. Just the last thing on these, the only Londa boys looking in there with your trials, which, as you know, we're big into here with these machines, is just the choke. Just to tell you something, when you pull your choke down, lift it up, sorry, when you lift the choke up, right, take it back down again, if you get the choke down and put your finger in there, you'll always have about 4 mil holding that tight on there. Don't worry about it. The thing to always think is, when you've got your bike in the position your fuel's on, right, you're approximately 25 mil before it even comes into work that. So if you put it there, it's not doing anything. And each bike I've built or done something with, I think I've had different variations. Some like choke, some don't like choke. Even with fully refurbished cars. So remember, first 25 mil don't do anything. And that's just a little tip there. When you hold that down, you will get that. People ask me if it's wear. They're all the same. But that's just as it's coming. So right, back to refurbing then. So we want to make this one more look again, just to make sure everything on it. We'll do both sides. And we'll start the process. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do with it, I'm going to omit ultrasonic, because the state it's in. I've got a 6,000 watt pulse generator, can get a car engine in it. I wouldn't even bother with this. hasn't got a seal on it, you see, it's just been horrible sealant around it, stagnant fuel. So yeah, so I'll leave these jets in. What I did was, when this came in, I took the bottom off it and I've taken the float out of it and had a look. As I say, the slider was nice and free, and I'm going to show you something on that slider what I'll do, but this is just checking it, visual inspection before I start work on this. So we'll have another look in there. Right, so I'm going to move on to stage one now. It could be your carburettor at home, which you're going to send in to me. I'm going to give you a price of this when it's done, including the polishing. If I didn't do the polishing, if you wanted the float ball doing in a ceramic coating and heat resistant, keeping the heat from the head in to probably stop one of the undercuffs or the boil. Sometimes you put the shield down, but that restricts your flow. That was a modification what come out, I think, in 81 cent on an under bulletin. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to omit an ultrasonic because this is past that. So what we're going to do is, this is commercial acetone. So I'm going to put this into here for an hour. I'm not going to put that in because I haven't got anything to say. So it gets in every orifice and everything. The choke's working, slider was good. I've had a look down there, I'm happy with that. And I'll show you something I'm going to do with that later. So we'll look at the clock now. So just off 1:45, so 1:45 we'll come back. So we'll let that soak in commercial pure acetone and we'll give it an hour and we'll come back. You're going to see today though, you're going to see some machinery and what we do, and then polishing, and hopefully what we're going to get this back to. So we'll have one picture of it there, look, just going in. As you can see, it's already starting to change colour as we're just waiting, look. It's going even darker now. And I'll just say something else. In restoration workshop, you know, I've shown you how I make up a lot of the products to save you a fortune. Look how black that's going already, look. There's no substitute, you know when you get, because you'll get a bike in for restoration and you would spray with a WD and an aerosol and it costs you a fortune. But when you actually have a rusty bolt, nuts and bolts which are rusted, there's no substitute to acetone. There really isn't. You have the rustiest nut and bolt, soak it in acetone. I haven't done anything on that. It's not something you want to play with too much. As I say, you want to be in well ventilated area and just have some PPE on. But yeah, look at this now, just as we're just talking now. So we'll go 1 hour with that. And as I say, I ain't going to put that through an ultrasonic because once it's been through pure acetone and airlined out, I'm going to show you our main things to show you how we're going to bring body up. So let's give it the magic hour and we'll come back. So we're on the nearly on the magic hour now. I've let that soak in pure acetone, so we'll take it out in a couple of minutes. What I'm going to do then is, because you're going to see this been gone through the workshop and things I'm going to do to it. The next process I'm going to do is, because I know we're doing it for a finish, but as I just said, the slider was good, but I'm just going to check the inside. And I think I do anyway. I was happy with the inside, but I can I'll show you what I do. Now remember, when I'm doing these, I'm going from one job to another. So in the workshop, when I give you the final price, what this would cost you, I'm just checking it out. It might not be the answer, but if your carburettor was running fine to start with, then you know, that's a good one. But this is just some checks I do anyway, like I just shown you on that carb what's come in. It's oval. So we'll have a look at it now, close up again. So though it's got everything inside, we've started to start peeling it back a bit, and you know, I've left all these old jets in. These had all been replaced by the customer. But if we look close here, look, we've still got remnants of bits and bobs in there. Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do, you're going to see me put it in a dry blaster soon. I'll go through that. I just want to show you what I do on this, the actual slider ball. Now, I get a camera and my phone. So I've got the camera, I'll just let you see this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it down the bore of this, just a slider. I mean, you felt it with your fingers, and there's nothing nasty in there. Remember, you'd be putting a new slider in. The amount of these that people just put jets in, and they omit the slider. And I'll show you another little trick in a minute. So I'm going to put this down here just to see. So I don't know if you can see that, look, on camera. So it's good. It's good. You could have a carburettor that's literally been used for an hour with less scars in that. So I've also, as well, over the years, we're going to take this, looking at this again. I think the main thing is with this, I'll blank it in a minute, but yeah, you could have a carburettor that's run for an hour or so and it's got more scars in that. On the sliders, you know, I've actually done a few tests, and there's a quick test this. I know we're going to show you how we're going to change this carburettor in a minute. But what you can do, most common question I get with Hondas on the singles are, it runs for 5 minutes and it starts to ramp up. So it's when everything's getting a little bit warmer. And usually 9 times out of 10 it's the slider. But if you want to just check something, when you put it onto choke and you start it, as soon as it's off choke, so it's had a couple of minutes, not that 5 minutes gap before it goes up in the air and you start twigging with everything, it's just get an air dryer, not a blow lamp, and just while it's running on bike, just as soon as it's off choke, right, and just get a warmed up round here. If you're trying to expand this, if all of a sudden it goes into that mode of revving up and coming down, then it's another check I do. I mean, I've done so many things on these. I've even on a Duff carburettor where someone hadn't done the slider, I've painted the slider in ceramic coating, the same coating as I'd paint with a piston, not the top valve coating but the side coatings, and it was spraying to about 1/1000th of an inch, and then go over it with 0.0 on the slide, and you'll probably see that effect very similar to a lot of sliders you'll have or you'll see. And I put them back in, and I put dryer to it again, and I've got rid of it. Obviously it's not worth, just to prove a point, it's not worth you doing that. You just buy a genuine, not a copy, right, genuine slider and genuine kit. So right, so let's get on to the next stage of what I'm just going to do with this carburettor before we go into the dry blaster. Right, so this powder I'm using now is a commercial powder. It's a polishing powder, very fine, again like talcum powder. But you can get this in another version of it, which I use for. I still use this for really ultra fine, like chrome work. If you're a Harley or you got some nice bits on your bike, not aluminium as much, but chrome work, where you don't want it scratching, because that dreaded stuff in a tube, you know, grinding paste near on. You put this on, it'd be fantastic. So it wouldn't be a wasted thing, but it ain't that cheap. You can buy this off the internet. You won't forget what this is called once I've told you. So, are you ready? Blue Job. So you won't forget that one, will you? So, but I use the equivalent, but you could use that, but it's a fantastic chrome polish. So what I do is I get this product, which I use a lot in the workshop. It's a metal cutting compound. Sometimes I use it on the journals of crankshafts when you're going some very fine and taking scars out the cranks on multis. So we take a blob of it like this, right, put it on, and then I'd get some of this Blue Job. What you could do instead of that at home, you could do that, and you could just get a microfiber cloth, wet the microfiber cloth, get a bit of Blue Job, put it on it, and that's what you could do at home. It's only because I'm using another commercial powder. So I get that, I get a brush, I put it down the sleeve, the bore. Obviously I'm not going round and round like that, I'm trying to just go in and out. And then I put this in, and all I'm doing there, ultra fine polishing it. Now this is going in a dry blaster soon, which will have oxide in it, and you'll see how fine my oxide is. I know many who watch the channel will say you go on about it a lot, but I'm paranoid with the word blasting and oxide, and all of my stuff's ultra fine. So I'd do that, and I'm just checking. There was no tram lines in it to start with, new slider in that. I'd go on a bit further with that, but the main thing you're coming to see is how we're going to finish this off. So that's what I'd do with that. So the next stage is to bung this off. So all I do on this occasion, I'm going to put the top back on. Remember as well, when you're building your carb up, to get that little gasket there. It's important. So once we get this on, that's it. And then what I'll do is, I'll bung that, and I'll bung that side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the football back on. Like that. And then what I'm going to do, the last thing, I'll use a small bung, as you can see, look. So we don't want anything going down anything. The reason I'm covering the top up is that's the choke mechanism in there. I'm not worried about the valve, the jets and everything, and go from there. So I'm well happy to take that to a blast cabinet now. I just want one final look at it first, right? So you're getting a close-up of it. And we'll go to a blast cabinet. So we're moving on to a dry blast machine, ultralight oxide. What I've done with this is, as I've shown many times, is there's some glass in here as well. Again, look how fine it is. Now, all that does, it just gives me a little bit of polishing just to let me see it all. Out of here, we're going to put it into a wet blaster, which I'll show you in a bit. And then we're going to take the top off and the bottom off. That's going to be polished. As I say, we're all bunged. Everything's bunged, so nothing's going to get inside. Nothing in the choke mechanism. Nothing down the petrol side of it. So we'll get this up and running, and we'll come back and show you a picture when I open the door, and see what you think of it so far then. Right, so let's have a close-up at this stage now then. So we're looking better. Looking pretty good actually. Yeah, it's pretty good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to keep all the bungs in. I'm going to take the cap off once I've gone into a dry blaster when it comes back out on the float bowl, because we said we're going to polish them. And as you can see, this is one up from blasting on the colour because there's just a bit of glass in it. But it also highlights when I'm doing any restoration work, that bit of glass just lights it up so I can do stuff. If it's like fork legs and I'm taking marks out, it just lights it up so I can see it. So remember, we're going to get from this kind of, this is a very similar finish to the machine at the back, which would be on soda. And if we were bunged out and it was a carburettor full of all bits and diaphragms, you do it with soda because it's water soluble. This is grit, fine oxide, you can see, I've just shown you a minute ago. but it's not doing any damage to any of the writing or anything. Obviously we've got salt fatigue and everything, but you know, that ain't the project today. So let's move on to a wet blaster now. We'll just get close up just to show you that colour on that. I do a lot of this colour for Amel carburettors. It's that kind of fresh Amel. It's not got any of the bling factor. But the glass I'm using at the moment is what I call a 70s glass, which gives you a really good bling finish. And once it's peened, it's just maintained. Then you just have to wash it. And as I've said in many videos, or if you're new to the channel, I do play with the glasses and the different colours, because if I get a Laverda or a Harley Davidson Italian bikes, they can come down to this kind of casing or Amel carburetors. So let's get onto a wet blaster now and show you what we'll do next. Right, I'm just giving this a quick rinse off. Just dunk it in here a bit as well. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it an airline off. Right, so we'll get it under a light again, show you where we're at now, and then what I'm doing next. So right, so we'll get a close-up of this to where we're at next. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the top off, I'm going to take the bottom off, and I'll take the bungs out. Remember, we've got a little bit of erosion on this car, but we can start to see how it's coming along. So we're on Wednesday the 19th now, mid-afternoon, and I'm going to take these to the polishing room. So I'm going to do the float bowl in an eye gloss polish. Now I always go with polishing 1 to 10, a scale of 1 to 10. There's bigger wheels, smaller wheels, but it's a Canon 3-phase machine. Again with soaps, and we'll get this to a chrome bling, because what we've decided to do is put a chromey top on and that. And so as I say, we'll go in there. I'll show you a quick look in the polishing room, and I'll go and polish my ring piece. Right, so one float bowl to get cut back and polished, and we'll finish my ring piece off. So see you in a bit when these are done, and it'll start to come together, and I'll get you a price as well for this service. Cheers. Right, so we're at the polishing room. We'll go and put it to the carburettor, and let's see what you think. Right, so we're going to put this back together just to show you. It's funny, you know, because when people watch these videos, they say sometimes I watch them in bed, and I'm just trying to think, if your partner is laid in bed and then she wakes up in the morning or turns around and says, what was that bloke on about polishing his ring piece in the middle of a Wednesday afternoon on about? He needs locking up. So anyway, let's get this on here. First thing we'll do is the top. Quick go on to there. Right, so we'll have a close-up if we can just come a bit closer on this. Have a close-up. A bit of light there, carburettor, top. The other side, round, polished. All back, all moving nicely. How's that? We can't help the bit of erosion, but as you can see, the vapour blasting has brought it right up. And that's what the chap wanted, polishing polishing and bringing back. So if you have a quick look at that photograph once again, and as I say, till the next time, we're based in Scarborough, North Yorkshire. 01723 370 399. You can contact me after 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I turn machinery off in the office here. Any projects you've got, just let me know. I'll always sample it for you. Price. So right, what you've seen today is because, you know, I'll go through that process while I'm working on other things throughout the day. It could be paint, ceramic coating, drying, it could be powder coating, polishing, ultrasonic cleaning, any of them services. So for that, what you've seen today, that's £50 plus VAT. So you've got a bit of postage in, a bit of postage out, but that's it, and I've given you a few tips on the way. So I hope you like that one. Till the next one, thanks very much.